I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to Oops, the podcast. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us during these crazy times. We've appreciated your companionship, and I hope you guys are enjoying listening. I am Giulio. I'm joined, as always, by the wonderful, the brave. I just couldn't think of a good adjective, dude. I'm sorry. Francis Ellis, everyone.
Yes. Thank you, G. I've been feeling very brave lately. Feeling very brave. Courageous would be the word I would choose. But how are you, pal? What's going on?
Brave guy. Dude, you know, everything's good, man. Just in Florida, it's fucking hot. I saw a 10-foot alligator the other day when I was fishing.
Wow.
With Ricky. It was in this pond. It's just like kind of the way it does on nature shows or whatever. It just popped its head out, and then you see its body too. And It's just a big fucking prehistoric critter, dude.
They're
Scary.
wild to see. They're so wild to see. And it's also crazy how unthreatening they are. Because I see them on golf courses in Florida all the time, and it's as if you've walked into their own personal tanning salon.
Huh. Really?
They don't, dude. They come up out of the water hazards and they just sunbathe, and they are so docile. And you can hit a golf ball to 5 feet away, and as long as you have the chutzpah, you can go and play that golf ball, and in all likelihood, they're not going to come after you.
Do they attack on land? Do we even know any of this?
Yeah, and they can run really fast.
Great.
They can outrun you.
Fantastic.
You'd be surprised at how fast they are. But they don't really attack. The ones that attack are crocodiles.
Right. And dude, also like alligators, apparently you can't shoot them because they ricochet.
They're so
you
armored.
You have to hit them in a specific spot on their temple or something. It's like, what are these fucking prehistoric reptilian war machines, dude? What the fuck? Right?
Yeah. Yes. Ooh, I do like a good gator though. Oh, they're fun.
You ever eat gator?
I have. I've had alligator fritters.
They're
before.
good, right?
It was solid. It just tasted like anything that could be fried though.
Dude, I don't know if this is like me going through a midlife crisis, but I feel this like incredible pressure to try everything in the world and go everywhere. And it's like really detrimental maybe and stupid. But like if I see a menu and there's something on the menu that I haven't eaten, I always order that.
Really?
Yeah. Is that weird?
No, I don't think it's weird, but I also think that my mentality when I'm at a restaurant is more of a fear that I will not order the best thing on the menu.
Right.
And so I find myself more often than not being guided by the suggestions of the waiter or waitress. And oftentimes too, and this happens especially with breakfast, if I'm out for breakfast or brunch, I will over order to placate my fear of missing out, my FOMO, my menu FOMO.
Right. That's smart. I do that because I eat too much sometimes, especially if I'm at brunch. I'm probably hungover and I'll just like order way too much and eat it all. So that's probably bad, but I'm trying to have a more professional relationship with food, which you've alluded to the fact that you sort of have that.
Yeah, but I always think that going out to meals, like you gotta let yourself spread your wings a little. I have a friend whose name's Doug. I've talked about him before. He has his menu FOMO is so bad that he'll order just to have options. Okay.
Oh, nice.
And like I've traveled with him. We went to Australia together for 10 days and we would go out to breakfast and they'd have to pull over a second table to add to our table just to create enough surface area to accommodate all the things that he was ordering.
Whoa, that's great. He's a big guy too, right?
He's a big guy, and beverages are his biggest thing where he needs variety. So every time we would go to breakfast, he would order 5 different drinks at the same time and need them to be in front of him.
That's hilarious.
So he would have an iced coffee, a water, like a green juice, and then a Bloody Mary, a beer, and then like oftentimes like an orange juice. Like he'd have all 6 of those things in front of him at the same time, and he would sip from each of them as if he was playing the xylophone.
Wow. Dude, that's crazy. Bro, I gotta be honest. I find your relationship with moderation very impressive. I find you to be an impressive individual.
I appreciate that, but dude, it all comes down to one thing, and that is vanity.
Yeah, but maybe it's not vanity. Maybe it's you know, you want to feel good about yourself. And if you feel like you let it slip, then you won't feel good about yourself. Maybe that's like how, because I don't think it's like, there's more to it than just pure vanity.
But dude, I genuinely think that I'm so obsessed with myself, my self-image, my body, I don't know, whatever it is. And I take so much happiness and pride from the way I look in the mirror, which is vanity, that it dictates a lot of my decisions about eating and exercise. And as much shit as people want to give you for being really vain, right? One of the byproducts of vanity is a longer, healthier life. So it's hard for me to discredit vanity or to think that it's a bad trait, because, you know, the offshoot of it is like health and being able to play with your grandchildren. You know what I mean? Because you're staving off heart disease.
Absolutely. But dude, like I want to give people a reference point for this, because Francis, like he's saying, like if he goes to a great restaurant that's known for a specialty item that is unhealthy, he's going to eat it.
Yeah.
And he'll do it in a way that fits in with his healthy lifestyle still. Or if I go to a party or if I go out and Francis is there and it's a poppin' night, Francis will be drinking. He's never going to be the guy that's like, oh, I've been off the booze for like, you know what I mean? Like he is always stepping up for all the occasions. And anytime dude, it almost feels like you have such a good relationship with moderation that it's almost like you're not even really sacrificing. Like you're sacrificing regularly across the board to the point that it is a lifestyle, and you're now not missing out on anything, in my opinion.
Well,
That's how I perceive it.
This is a very nice thing to hear, and I really appreciate it. I understand that I'm lucky in that I don't have that switch. I was just never born with that switch of like, well, we're going for it tonight, so let's fucking, you know, we'll pick up the pieces tomorrow, or I'll make up for it tomorrow by, you know, drinking more Gatorade to fight the hangover or whatever. Like I have friends who I've never blacked out in my life, right? And even on nights when I'm 12 drinks deep, I have the ability to turn down that shot that would be the 13th shot.
Right.
Even if I'm like super fucked up, almost to the point of puking, there's something deep in my subconscious, some kind of autopilot that just comes over the loudspeaker and is like, don't drink it. Like that's one too many, you know?
Right.
And so I don't know where that comes from. I'm also aware that like the line between being someone who blacks out and somebody who doesn't is very thin. And like concussions, once you've done it once, it starts to happen more often. And I don't really want to get there. At this point in my life, I have no interest in being someone who discovers what it's like to black out.
Totally. Dude, I find that there's parts of me as a drunk, like if I'm drunk, I really like a lot of things about my personality that I don't when I'm not drunk. And I have a healthy relationship with alcohol.
Yeah.
I don't drink all the time. When I do, especially during this, I can have one or two and that's fine. I can also have way more. And I feel that when I'm drinking, I'm more likely to reach out to people that I don't normally, who I really care about. And I'm willing to be affectionate without feeling awkward. I feel like I'm in a good mood. I feel like, I make good decisions. Like I book these memorable trips that I never would have booked. Like that whole Africa thing that I did. There's a project I'm working on. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I would have never done that if I hadn't been drinking when I booked all my flights for everybody, for the crew too. I booked, and then I was like, fuck, I guess I'm going. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like spontaneity. And I really, and you know, and again, I'm not a person who drinks every day. So I'm not trying to like convince you that my habit is good. I just really like myself when I drink. But then if I'm drinking too much, too often, I start getting fucking all fat and like I have no energy. I can't focus when I'm not drunk. And that's how you get like tricked into being fucking drunk.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Me at least.
Yeah. I love that alcohol for you is like a lubricant towards filling your Google Calendar. Alcohol is your travel agent.
It really is, man.
For most people, it makes them more able to talk to women or put down barriers and take risks. For you, it's like, let's fill up July.
That's great, dude.
Oh, that's funny.
There's also part of me that worries that, and I think that this is a thing about drinking, is that sometimes I've seen it in other people. Their confidence, they think it's good confidence, but I just see that they're fucking drunk and annoying.
Totally.
So I wonder about that too.
Yeah.
You never know. I've certainly made terrible decisions many times.
Yes. Yeah. Every fight that I've been in was always spurred forth by alcohol, and probably would not have happened
what kind of fight
without
are we
it.
talking? Like with other guys
Fist
at the
fight.
bar or with friends? Oh, right, yeah. Fist fight.
Yeah, I've been in 3 fist fights in my life, and all 3 were, the fuse was lit by booze for sure.
I don't think that's unusual. And dude, that's the other thing. Like, I always think that this is funny. Like, I remember one of my ex-girlfriends, and I've been talking about a lot of ex-girlfriends this week, and there's definitely overlap. These aren't all different people. But I caught her doing something fucked up. And I was like, why would you do that? And she was like, I was drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, how are you, like, most murders happen when people are drunk. Like, is that,
Totally.
Are they going to court being like, oh, I was drunk, the judge let me go? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Alcohol can be really bad.
You know what's funny is that when we were younger, alcohol was the mea culpa for so many different things, right? Meaning we used to actually forgive people for shit because they were drunk.
Right.
And it was like, oh, he cheated on you. He was drunk. And that actually meant something back then. But if you, in this day and age, if you are still leaning on alcohol to cover your tracks or get somebody to forgive you, like to me, it doesn't play anymore once you've turned 28. You should not be so out of control over your own behavior when alcohol comes into play that, you're pointing to alcohol as the reason why you did it.
Totally.
Do you think that in your sexual career that you have been anybody's worst sexual partner?
I don't know. I hope not. I remember one time a girl was like, what are we doing? Like, this sucks. Neither of us are enjoying this.
Oh, God.
And I was like, you're right. I'm not either. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I don't know if
goodness.
it's like her, but I don't know. I hope not. What about you? What's your answer?
I think definitely I have been someone's worst, if not multiple people's worst.
And what do you attribute that to?
Coming way too fast or just like we probably weren't supposed to be having sex with each other and we just kind of ignored those signs. And then nobody, like, once you're having sex, it's very rare that people will do what you experienced, which is be like, we got to pull the plug on this.
It was so awkward.
Just a waste of time.
Yeah, totally.
So I don't know. Yeah, I think there have been definitely times where I was just like, I was very disappointing to the person that I was with. Now, here's a question. Do you think you've been anyone's best?
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And dude, quite frankly, I mean, if you date someone for a really long time, you're their best at that point.
Usually, yeah, I would think so. I would think that I've been someone's best because I've had times where I've had sex with somebody, and then that just like one time, and then that person keeps reaching out to you for a long period after, even though there was like nothing there, and and you're like, wow, I didn't think it was particularly good. You know what I mean? Like, you don't think you did well. You don't think the sex was that good, but that person keeps hitting you up over the years to check in on you and maybe potentially rekindle that flame.
So I think that there's two things that could happen there. One is that, yeah, you just fucking took her to town, gave her the good stuff.
Gave her
and
the
she's just
platinum unit. Yeah,
Gave her the platinum unit.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe there was just a mismatch. Like maybe you were doing her a favor and now you were kind of like her best shag and now she can't stop thinking about it.
That's true too. Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, that question extends to, as well, not just like performance in the bedroom, but like, do you think, that you've ever been someone's highest caliber sexual partner?
Right.
And then do you think you've ever been someone's lowest caliber sexual partner? And I think it's funny because both answers could be considered arrogant, right? Like if I said that I was someone's least attractive, most unimpressive, like them playing below the rim for them sexual partner, that implies that girl is like the hottest chick ever to live.
Right.
And she's accustomed to trafficking with, male models and NBA players and the elite people. And somehow she let her guard down one night when she felt lonely and chose me over a pint of Ben and Jerry's.
So I think that what you're saying is underestimating the women's sophistication when it comes to sex. Like I don't necessarily think that like all that shit matters. Like it's not a surprise that male models get paid way less than female models.
Okay.
I just think that they're like less appealing to women. Like I think that, maybe status can be attractive, this and that, but like I don't necessarily think that like a girl who's trafficking in, all these like models or guys with great bodies or whatever, who then is banging somebody with like a more average body, but maybe that guy has something else that is much more.
Maybe they take a more wholesale evaluation of the people.
Like, right. Maybe the guy's like really powerful or something. You know what I mean? I feel like chicks are into that, dude. Chicks are into power.
Oh, damn, dude. That sucks. I don't have any power.
No, dude, girls like you, man.
I'm like the renewable energy.
You're a piece, dude. I'll occasionally get a message being like, you should set me up with Francis. And I hate to be a dick, but a lot of the time in my head, I'm like, he's out of your league, babe. I'll never say it, but I think it. I'm like,
that's very sweet of you. Yeah, you're a dish too. Look at you. Jesus Christ.
Not like you,
dude, I've gotten some funny DMs that were so brazen from, I think, fans of our show. One time I got a DM from a chick and she goes, "Hey, I know you have a girlfriend and all, so I don't mean any disrespect, but I'd really love to suck your dick sometime."
Nice.
It's like,
love that.
That is disrespect. I feel like if you're talking about like female solidarity, you violated that.
Listen, man, there's only so many good candidates out there.
Dude, I also have this one which I've never opened. I don't think I opened that one either, but I have this one right here. And all she wrote on June 5th was, "Fuck me. Like, fuck me hard!" !
Oh, man.
Deal with that.
Love it.
Well, dude, these sorts of text messages or DMs rather are very much, a difficult thing to ignore, but that's part of being in a relationship, I guess. One question I have for you is old nudes from people that you in your past, right?
Yeah.
The totally altruistic Boy Scout way to do this is to delete all old nudes once you get into a new relationship, right? Yeah. That's playing it by the book. And I deleted all the nudes that I had in my phone once my girlfriend and I got serious. It was, it was one of the darkest days of my life.
You really did that?
Yeah, I felt like I had to.
Wow.
Because
I don't agree. I don't think I did. Well, I'll tell me what you have to say about it.
All right. Well, first of all, it took a lot of work for me to get those nudes. I mean, those are rare baseball cards, and you don't want to delete them, but having them felt like a violation to me. And it's the problem too is that having them around is just a source of temptation, because you're gonna see those pictures or whatever if you're on an airplane or you're lonely on the road, or maybe you and your girlfriend have had a fight or something, and that's going to tempt you to want to hit that person up and ask for more nudes, which is a slippery slope into like, oh, we're both in this city or whatever, let's meet up, and you end up cheating. And like I'm of the mindset of like, yeah, like once you get into a relationship, it's like being on a diet, right? You know, if you're on a diet, this is a tough way to put it, but like you can't keep boxes of, Oreos in the cabinet, because just having them there, make life easier for yourself. It's much easier to be on a diet if you don't have temptations in the pantry. Nudes are the Oreos of your pantry. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, so
sorry, keep going. Sorry.
Well, that's kind of my whole point. So I deleted all these old nudes, and it felt like I was carving out a piece of my life, unfortunately. But I will say that I do think and know that it was the right thing to do.
Okay, yeah, I think that's totally fair.
What's your take? I want to hear this.
I think my advice to people in a relationship when it comes to this topic, I think that you should not delete them. Personally, I think you should keep them.
It's starting to turn into like the Confederate. It's like it's part of our history, like Confederate flags.
Oh my God, no, I do not believe in that. But
keep going. Sorry,
that's hilarious. And I think that if you suspect that your girlfriend has them or whatever, I think it's the equivalent of having the like, how many partners have you had conversation? Like, I think there's some things that just don't matter. And I think that having the freedom to have that stuff still, and I'm not going around looking at it all the time. And, I think that if you do look at it, I don't think that's necessarily bad. And I think that it'll keep you happier in your relationship. I think relationships are really hard. And like you said, dude, you're getting DMs about people being like, can I suck your dick, all this shit. And you're staying faithful to your girl. And I think that there's kind of like a little bit of leeway, in my opinion, with this stuff where like, I don't need to be all in my girlfriend's business. I don't need to know about her partners. If she has a fucking an album of her ex-boyfriend's fucking giant hard dick that that's way bigger than mine or something, I don't need to know about it. Like, and it's okay. Like, that's okay. I really think it's okay. And I think that it just makes us like happier, trust each other. And if there's a lot of stuff about her that I don't know, that's okay with me. It keeps it exciting, in my opinion.
Okay.
I don't know.
I feel the same way. I do. But what if, she was consulting those old pictures often and using it as like spank bank material? Would that irk you?
I mean, I obviously wouldn't love it, but I like to think that, we could maintain a healthy enough, kind of like life in the bedroom or whatever, that theoretically she shouldn't need to be doing it. And, if one day she does or something, obviously that's fucked up. I don't want to know about it, but hopefully like, if it became a thing that was insurmountable, I'm assuming we'd break up. You know what I mean? I think that the bigger issue isn't having the picture. I think the bigger issue is what you're doing with the picture or what it represents. Yeah.
That's fair. That's a fair point. Would you consider it cheating at all if she were to look at those photos and use them as, fantasy material?
Again, this is a really slippery slope. If I were to find out about it, I'd be furious. But like, if she's using it and then texting him after and being like, I can't stop thinking about your fucking, she'd never do this. But like, I'm just saying that's not her style. I don't know if she would or wouldn't do that. But I think that if you're just looking at the picture and using it as spank back material, I have trouble imagining her doing that. If I never find out and maybe it's not affecting us, then I don't know. I don't want it to be happening, but I'm not going out searching for it to catch her doing something. You know what I mean?
That's my mindset too, right? Is what I don't know doesn't really hurt me. And I want to allow my girlfriend to choose for herself what she deems to be within the bounds of respectable behavior, and with the hope that, you know, we're on the same page about that, because you kind of give what you get in relationships. And I would think that basically my operating philosophy is like, don't do anything that if you knew she was doing it would be really hard for you to handle, because then it's a double standard. And yet at the same time, with you saying what you did say, now I feel like if my girlfriend had old dong pics from past lovers, and once in a while when she was in a place without any Wi-Fi, she pulled those up to get the juices flowing, like, what the fuck do I care? How different is that from porn? You know what I mean?
It's not the biggest deal in the world. And I think that, like, if you're out here like snooping on your girlfriend, trying to fucking catch her, like, you need a hobby or some ambition, because like you know what I mean, you should be thinking about other shit.
Dude, once you start looking, man, it's bad. Like,
you're gonna find stuff you don't want to see. No matter what.
You're always gonna find stuff you don't want to see. But it's funny too to think about myself 8 years ago, 10 years ago, because in college, when I was younger, college, and then in the couple of years after, I mean, I would have like a once a year hackathon where I would go through my girlfriend's shit, and she would do the same thing to me.
Dude, I was a piece of shit. Like, I was a jealous loser, and I look back on it and I'm really ashamed at the way that I acted.
But isn't it amazing that we don't have that anymore?
Well, dude, you know, it comes with age and with experience, and these are complex emotions that are difficult to learn how to deal with. And I think it just takes some adjusting and some practice.
Right.
You know?
I was talking to Emma Willman. I was on her podcast recently, and she's so great. We've had her on, and she was telling me about how she had a girlfriend once that she really liked, and she went into her girlfriend's emails and typed in like 20 different keywords to see if anything would match, right? And it was like sex, fuck, pussy, like, you know, whatever, all these things that she's trying to find. And somehow she stumbled upon her girlfriend with a verification email signing up for the sugar daddy dating website. What's that one called? Seeking Arrangement, right?
Wow.
And so she like sees this, immediately like goes ape shit, confronts her girlfriend about it, and is like, what the fuck is this? I caught you, you know, blah, blah, blah. We're done. And then the girlfriend was like, did you even look at the fucking profile I have on there? And she looked it up, and it turned out that one of her girlfriend's friends had signed her up as a joke on Seeking Arrangement, and her profile on Seeking Arrangement was so clearly a joke. Like, you know, it was like, I'm only here if you're going to be if you pay me like $1 million a night, or what? I'm a lesbian, but like, it was just totally a joke. And Emma was like, sorry.
I don't know if I buy the joke thing, but
well, I think maybe I'm not recounting it right, but it was like clearly a spoof, and her friend had like, it was like Emma admitted that it was, had she read it, she would not have been suspicious, right? So, but even just that show of that lack of security was enough for them to end up breaking up.
Right. Yeah. And again, you know, and that would happen. It sounds like that happened in the past too.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I would definitely not hold that against somebody if they did it before me. If
they did what?
At Seeking Arrangements.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's tough out there, dude. It's fucking this, like, New York City's so expensive. Like, how on earth? I don't even know how most people even survive there to begin with. Like,
let me ask you this. If you found out that someone you were dating used to be on Seeking Arrangements, would you then feel like you were getting it for free?
I mean, yeah.
As if you were like sponsored by your girlfriend?
I'd start DMing the guys she used to go out with, being like, hey, man, this is what it's like when you don't have to pay.
Man, you missed the sale, dude. We really wrong timing, buddy.
That's fucking great. Dude, I know people who met their girlfriends through. Okay, so there's this like strip club thing in New York City. Apparently, it's like an underground strip club where like normal girls can just go and guys can go to or whatever, and they need to get like references saying that they're not creeps, and then everybody's there. And if you meet a girl that you like, you can pay her to give you a dance.
Huh.
And like go in a private room, and I don't know whatever happens. But I know people who have met their girlfriends through that, and I don't know if
Really?
I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't want to
No.
meet my girlfriend in those kind of circumstances.
Yeah, that's a society that I don't keep, really, if I'm honest. I don't traffic in those circles. That's kind of like an elevated, pretty edgy construction, I would say. And
Agreed.
yeah.
And dude, the only thing I remember, actually, a girlfriend of mine once told me that she was an escort. We went to dinner and she told me I am an escort. She's like, I get paid by men to go with them to parties. I don't have sex with them. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck? But I was trying to be as like understanding as possible. We weren't boyfriend and girlfriend yet. We almost were. And in my head, very quickly, I was like, if someone was willing to pay me to do all this kind of shit, I'd probably do it, especially if I was getting paid well, including sexual favors. So like, and I think maybe this was very quickly, and I didn't have time to think it over, but I was like, that's fine. I probably asked a couple questions like, do you plan on continuing to do it? Like all this shit. And then she was like, I'm joking. 30 minutes into that whole thing. I'm just kidding.
That doesn't sound like she was being honest.
I know. And also like there were times where we would like get a hotel room and like she'd be like, no, use this card, not that card. Like it was like always this like sketchy shit about money, and like she didn't work, and her like mom sort of had like, her mom was pretty successful, but like, this success, like she had all this fancy shit. So like it was really sus. And in retrospect, I feel like she was kind of testing the waters to see how I would feel if that was really.
Yeah, she knew everybody at the hotel by first name. They all had secret handshakes.
Right? It's sus. So I think that she actually was doing that.
Yeah, I would think so. Dude, I've never been with a prostitute. I've never even, and I'm not saying your escort was a prostitute or whatever, but I've never dealt with that. I've never paid for sex. I've never even kept the company of a prostitute. I've never like spoken to one. I'd be fascinated to hear about that life.
Dude, you know what? I actually know some, because I was opening for somebody in Vegas for 10 days and he was friends with all of these sex workers. And they were cool. And like, we should maybe hit somebody up and see if they would be down to talk about it.
I wonder, I would be so thrilled to have that episode. I would even be happy to, put their face, obscure their face so that they don't have to reveal their identity unless they didn't care. It'd be pretty sick.
Yeah. So I follow one of the girls on Twitter. She's like a, I don't know if girl is the proper term. She's kind of like, more, I would say, in a MILF category. If we're going to go by porn categories. I'm sorry if that's insulting. But I met a bunch of them too, actually, dude. I met this one girl who used to be a stripper, and she was becoming a dental technician's assistant. And she was like in her early 30s now, and she was really cool, actually. But she had bleached her hair so much that her hair was like gray fully. And the doctor was like, if you bleach your hair more, it's going to start falling out of your head. So you need to stop like coloring it. So she just had this like very premature gray hair.
That can throw a wrench in your escort plans real quick.
I know. Right. But anyway, she's like, I was an escort for like a really long time. She's like, I feel like I'm kind of past my prime or whatever. And now I'm studying to like do whatever. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, but that's just
like, overly bleached hair is to the escort world what like multiple concussions is to NFL players. You just can't sustain that much head trauma at some point. You just for this, you got to give it up unless you.
That's fucking great, dude.
Yeah, dude. Well, that's fascinating. Yeah.
Well, yeah, dude. I guess that's it. As always, great conversations, learning about each other. It's a fucking beautiful thing, dude. But thank you guys so much for listening. As always, we love doing this for you, and we hope that you're enjoying listening. We're going to keep rolling out some more new and exciting, cool shit throughout the year. For now, please check out our YouTube channel. If you have any great stories or oopses or times where you fucked up, anything like that, send it to oopsthepodcast@gmail.com or DM it to us or to our Instagrams or to our personal Instagrams or to @oopsthepodcast. Francis, you got anything else?
No, that's it. Have a great weekend, everybody.